long day. Sure can't wait to play some Helldivers. This game's honestly so much fun, and all my friends are online. They've been waiting for me to get on. Yo, what the fuck? Alright, let's get it. So, you want to get to know the Automatons? Well, let's get to breaking them down one by one. Starting off, we've got the Trooper. This is your standard run-of-the-mill robot, but they do have a few different variations. For simplicity's sake, these include the Trooper, the Raider, the Marauder, the Brawler, and the Commissar. You can distinguish between these based on the weapon they're holding. Sometimes it'll be a rifle, sometimes it'll be a rocket launcher, or just straight up swords. They can get pretty overwhelming, but a grenade typically does the trick. These guys can operate turrets and bases, but they'll also operate scout strikers. These guys, while being extremely armored in the front, are completely vulnerable in the back, so make sure to get behind them or, again, throw a grenade to get rid of them. The next tier of enemy will be the Berserker. These guys have chainsaws for arms and will try to walk you down. They can take a few hits, so make sure to keep your distance. And while you're doing that, try to take cover, because Devastators will get you. Oh my lord! No! What were y'all doing? Anyway, the Heavy Devastator has a riot shield and a minigun, while the Rocket Devastator has, well, rockets. And just one of these is enough to make your teammates have to call for reinforcements. An interesting thing to note is that you can shoot off pieces of their weaponry. So instead of going for a kill, it might be better to shoot off the rockets or the minigun. Had the misfortune of meeting a Hulk, you know that these things are the Grim Reapers of the battlefield. They come in two varieties, one with a flamethrower and the other with arm cannons. Either way, they're both extremely armored in the front, so shooting them there won't really do anything, unless you aim for the eye and hit them with something heavy like a fully charged railgun shot. Obviously, stratagems like an orbital laser or a rail cannon strike are great against these things, but you only have so many of those and have to wait for them to recharge. So, it is best to coordinate with your teammates to try to get behind one of these things and shoot them in the back, where they're exposed. But that's easier said than done, because when you keep in mind that everything else is going to be coming after you, it's going to be a tough time. You didn't think that we were done, did you? I guess its armored mechs weren't bad enough, now you have to deal with tanks. As you'd expect, these things are extremely heavily armored and only have one weak spot on the back of their cannon. Since the robots like variety, they obviously come in two different variations. The Annihilator is a standard tank that comes with a cannon and a machine gun, while the Shredder tank has quad cannons, which will spray you down with plenty of laser fire. Outside of a stratagem or a well-placed shot from behind with heavy weaponry, these things aren't going down anytime soon.
Have mercy. Please, please.
There is no mercy.
Well, now you know what they do, but let me give you some tips that'll help you turn the tide in battle. First of all, bringing in the right stratagems as a team is critical. Things like the railgun, shield generators, the shield generator pack, or smoke instantly increase your combat effectiveness. If you decide to run the railgun, make sure to change the firing mode to unsafe. By doing so, this allows the railgun to charge up way past further than it's supposed to, and lets you do more damage in the process. Just be careful not to overcharge it though. Shield generators provide a dome for you and your teammates to hide under. This is great for if you need cover, or just somewhere to protect your turrets. They do only last for about 30 seconds though, unless they're destroyed early, so make sure to make the most of it while you can. I'd still recommend the shield generator pack though. It's a personal shield that only protects yourself, but it's portable cover that will recharge over time. And my personal favorite, let's get to the underrated smoke stratagem. Coming in the Eagle or Orbital variety, either one is great for blocking line of sight, and in prolonged firefights, this is great for when all the cover's been destroyed. It can be used defensively to cover a retreat, or offensively to cover a push. And you're definitely going to want to push on Automaton outposts to destroy the fabricators. This is where the bots are mass produced, so unless you take these out, they're just going to keep coming. Be careful though, because these outposts are guarded by a host of defenses. There's mines, turrets, cannon turrets, and of course any bots you find inside. Make sure to take all these out as you push into the base. The orbital laser stratagem does numbers against bases. Oftentimes it can take one out on its own. I wouldn't linger around a base for too long though, as you might get caught by a bot drop. Any of the weaker troops can call for this at any time, and will typically be seen as a giant red flare in the sky. A dropship will then arrive with enemy reinforcements, and while you can shoot these dropships down, it's typically best to keep moving. As a general rule, it's good to engage in guerrilla warfare with the automatons. To avoid getting overwhelmed, it's best to not stay in one place for too long. Pick your engagements wisely, and retreat when necessary. Wise engagements include the automaton outpost we mentioned earlier, but also any side objectives you find along the way. You should consider it mandatory to do so when you come across one of these. Not only does it give you more XP at the end of the mission, but it also makes your life a whole lot easier while you're in the mission. Are your stratagems getting jammed? Destroy the stratagem jammer. Are there too many bot drops being called in? Activate the SAM site. Are you being detected too easily? Destroy the detector tower. Are you having a hard time finding the other side objectives? Activate the radar tower. If you're able to do all of these things and destroy the outpost where the robots are being built, there'll be barely anything left to stop you from completing your main objective and extracting. But before you go into your next mission, make sure you check the modifiers to see what's in store for you. The automatons will try to disrupt you in many different ways. For example, they could reduce the amount of stratagems you can bring on a mission by 1. Or they could scramble your codes so that you call in something completely different from what you intended to call in. But as long as you keep that in mind and everything else that we covered so far, then there should be nothing stopping you from crushing these robots. Well, what are you waiting for? Get out there and shut these sons of bitches down. Oh, I hit it right.
There it is. I'm supposed to go.
Right here, we're here. There's so many of them! Oh my god!
This Hulk needs to die. Run! Run! Why did it land over there? Because it bounced off a rock.